Hi there, this is the story of Canopy Growth. In recent days, the stock price has increased from $1.40 from my last video to over $1.88. And so the market cap. And now the most important question is whether Canopy Growth is a great investment at the current price. This price will continue to grow more in the future. And the answer, you will find it in this box. During this video, I'll open the box and you'll find the answer here. Now, to understand my answer, you have to look at this business to understand it. Because if you don't understand the business, you can't predict the future. As you can see right now, price, as I said, $1, close to $2, and the market cap has increased to $491 million. If you look at the revenue over the last 3 years, see a small decline. More recently, for the last quarter, they reported an increase in the revenue. That's a plus. That's great. But when you look at their earnings, they are quite with minus. Minus 2 billion, 23, minus over 400 million, minus over 400 million, 2025. It's like they're making revenue close to 200 million. They spend all that money. And on top of that, they spend another 400 million to fund their losing operations. And ask yourself if this is sustainable in the long term. And I think it's obvious the answer. Now, let's look at the balance sheet because maybe there is some value there. If you do a simple math, add all of the cash plus investments, and of course convert them to dollars because they report in Canadian dollars, you will see that total assets, cash plus investments, are about $225 million. Compare this amount with the current market cap, about half of it, right? Then, don't forget about their liabilities. Their debt is around the same level, 200 million. So, if you were to find out the net value of this company, only from their balance sheet, is almost zero. Subtract debt from their cash and you are left with almost nothing, just a few million. Now, the important thing is if they can grow more in the future from their segments. If you look at their segments, close to 80% of the revenue comes from cannabis and the other 20% from vaporizers and accessories. And if you want to dig deeper into their cannabis segment, 37% in fact, is from adult use, medical use 29%, and international markets only 12%. Be aware of this. They also announced some partnerships in Europe, so this segment may grow more in the future. And maybe they can expand into the US to take advantage of the new regulatory changes. If you wonder why all cannabis stocks went up in recent days, is because of possible new regulatory changes to make cannabis to consider cannabis less dangerous. And if they change this in their laws, the regulations, they will pay less in taxes and possible increase in their earnings. They might report fewer losses. And for other companies, they may report a profit. That's possible. Now, once they announce this to make cannabis less dangerous, there is also this possibility that potential US federal legalization of cannabis. If that happens, and also Canopy expands into the US, that will be a main driver for their revenue. And maybe they can report a profit. Now, the trick with this company and also the other companies, you have to know when to buy and when to sell. Because if you look at their stock prices, there's something like this, down, 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 and you have spikes from time to time. And you don't want to buy here and sell here, or something like that. You want to buy when you have a margin of safety and sell high, and then get out of this business. Why is that? Canopy Growth is not for long-term investors. Only if you are a speculator, then go in and you might make some money. But for long-term investors like me and my subscribers, this is not a great investment. Let me tell you why. Look at the number of shares over the last 3 years and more recently for the last quarter. It has increased from 51 million in 2023 to over 205 million. That means the number of shares has increased by 4x. And this is called dilution. Let me explain. You own a piece of land, right? 100% of it. But next week you find out you no longer own 100% but 900%. And after 1 year, you find out you own 45% of this land. So when they double the number of shares, your land decreases by half. Your ownership decreases by half. Because when they double the number of shares, they bring in more shareholders. And you have to divide this land with them. And this is called dilution, the biggest problem. Now, if the value of this land increases higher than the increase in the number of shares, then your piece of land, even though it gets lower, would be much valuable to go up. But so far, if you look at Canopy Growth, you see the revenue, a decline from 244 million to 187 million. And they haven't become profitable. So there is no increase in their value, real value. And you look also at their balance sheet, no increase there, almost a few million. So the increase in the number of shares is higher than the increase in their value. By the way, in my view, you have something like this, increase in the number of shares and decrease in the value. So you lose money from the increase in the number of shares and decrease in the value of this business because of declining revenue, and they haven't become profitable yet. And why would you want to invest in this company right now? Just to buy at high prices and then to have a decline like this? Don't do stupid things. Be aware of your money, your hard-earned money. Invest them wisely in great companies where your profits are likely to increase over time. And you don't have dilution, you have buybacks, if you heard of them. Buybacks. Those increase value over time. Now, if you want better investment ideas than Canopy Growth, real investment ideas, simply go to my profile, press join and choose Titan Investor and see my portfolio. Just take a look at it. You don't have to watch my portfolio every month. Just go in 1 month and then check it. Check my investments and you will see that all of them are up. And those are great investment ideas, not garbages. So if you want to make money, stop losing money and make real profits, join my membership. Plus you also have an investing course. Now, if you were to force me, because maybe there are some people prefer Canopy Growth instead of my portfolio, which is quite great. Now, if you were to force me to invest in this company, you give me $1 million, right? $1 million. And ask me, John, you have 1 million, you are allowed to invest only in this company, Canopy Growth, and make a profit. What's the right price you will pay? What's the price you get in? And the answer to that question is available for members. By the way, for Spartan members. And if you already are a Titan member, you already have access to Spartan. So to be fair for you, Spartan is much lower, much cheaper, and I'll make a video for Spartan members to know when is the right time to get in this company. So that's it for this video, and if you have other questions, please let me know in the comments.